is the principal political party of the country. Therefore, any statement from a leader of that party should reflect humility and not arrogance.
It's the politics of price rise. Sharad Pawar's NCP hits out at Rahul Gandhi's remark blaming coalition politics for inflation. The party is forced to clarify its general secretary was misquoted. The Mayawati government finally orders the arrest of the BSP MLA accused of raping a minor Dalit girl, but accused the victim of theft at the legislator's house. She's in jail.
जो कुछ श्री सिब्बल ने कहा वो इम्प्रॉपर था, प्रोप्राइटी के विरुद्ध था।
Telecom Minister Kapil Sibal comes under fire from the CAG. Also, the Public Accounts Committee that's looking into the 2G scam says it was improper for the minister to undermine the government's top auditor. Well, now to our very special focus here on People First. The Indian tricolour now flies high over the South Pole. It's a feat that's been achieved by Indian scientists in just 8 days.
Well, India has had a base in Antarctica for 30 years, but this race to the South Pole is a record. And it's Demon Joseph with that story.
(4,000 kilometers, non-stop, round-the-clock driving, low visibility, a route never tried before. So, what was the toughest bit about conquering the South Pole?
The most difficult part was, getting yourself food. The nozzle of that stove broke because of the extreme cold, and the pipe, rubber pipe, it gave way. So sometimes we were at a loss to understand how do we eat some things. Most of us try to avoid taking food because the morning it was very difficult to perform your duties in the morning.
The basic principle was that drive as much as you can, so that you stop only for the scientific experiment when it is needed or when there is a breakdown in the way.
Normally people think that when it's cold you should take liquor, but it is not advisable. Because when you take liquor, there's a dilation of your veins, and then if you suddenly go out, the veins will constrict, and then there is a risk. So intentionally we didn't touch.
India has been on Antarctica for almost 30 years, but it's only now, a century after man first set foot there, that we've raced to the South Pole. We're observing what global warming does to polar glaciers, the existence of life in places this cold, and mapping precious minerals that might lie beneath this ice.
Antarctica is about the size of America plus India together, such a huge continent. And having about 44 stations itself is something like you could have a drop in an ocean actually. That itself is not sufficient.
Antarctica is a no man's land. And you can go have a station, but you can have it only for the peaceful scientific purposes. But you don't own land there. You cannot exploit Antarctica.
In New Delhi, with Sandeep Soni, I am Demon Joseph.
Okay, and we are privileged to have the South Pole heroes joining us here on CNN IBN right here in our studios. Let me introduce, we have 4 of the 8 team members who did that expedition. Joining us first from Goa is Rasik Ravindra. He's the team leader for the National Center for Antarctic and Ocean Research. Here in our studios, right next to me, Ajay Dhar, he's the Technical Officer, Indian Institute of Geomagnetism. Next to him, Thamban Melot, he's the Ice Core Specialist at the National Center for Antarctic and Ocean Research. And right at the corner is Pradeep Malhotra, doctor and surgeon. All 4 of them very, very crucial to this entire expedition, this almost 4,000 kilometer odyssey. I'm going to start with you, Mr. Dhar. What's sort of been the most tough part of this entire expedition? The cold, of course.
Yes, the cold, of course, but the whole expedition itself has been tough because the planning, which has taken quite a few years, and then the unknown terrain, which is most difficult, then crevasses, because as I said, it's an unknown terrain, so we didn't know much about it. But then over the last few years, we have been doing a lot of surveys. We have been trying to find out which are the crevasse-prone areas and marking it with GPS. So this has been difficult right from the beginning, right from planning to this stage.
Right. For those of us who are cribbing about the weather in Delhi, I must tell you they were in minus 54 degrees Celsius. But the question to you is, you're an ice core specialist. we're told the toughest part was to cook food, though you did take pre-cooked food because you couldn't get the water to boil at minus 54 degrees. How tough was that?
Yep. You talk about the coding itself or the
about the food first.
The food was good because you don't expect great food in an expedition. Right. But within the conditions, actually, we have been able to manage quite well, and we were prepared for it.
Right.
So that way, the food was very tasty because you're having only once in a day. So that food is certainly much more tastier than any other food.
India's had a base in Antarctica for almost 30 years.
Right.
I do believe we've taken on this expedition in the past as well. Why did we fail then? Why have we succeeded now?
We haven't failed, actually. We have been trying since very beginning because whereas we were preparing rather. We had, all the way going to 90 degrees south required a lot of logistic preparation. So therefore, it took time to prepare, and we also made several attempts actually, to make sure that we understand the crevasse-prone areas, because there's large amount of crevasse on the way. So therefore, a lot of mapping has been done 1 year before. So we knew the place better before we were leaving.
Right. I want to bring in Mr. Rasik Ravindra. He's joining us there from Goa. And believe me, no one can appreciate Goa better than men who've been to minus 54 degrees Celsius. So with the question to you, why did a 63-year-old man dare to go to Antarctica? Did your family now object, sir?
So basically, the state of the mind, how you feel at a particular age. Well, I feel that I'm still very young and I'm ready to go for many more such expeditions. There's no problem with age.
No problem with age. You've been there 5 times. Why do you love it so much?
Well, it's called Antarctic bug. If you have gone there once, and you are bitten by that bug, you keep on going again and again. It's the pristine beauty of that area, the wonderful environment, and possibly you have that feeling that you are the first person going or walking on that particular terrain. So that gives you enough of energy.
Obviously, the Antarctic bug has bitten more than just Rasik. Mr. Dhar has been there 10 times as well. He spoke about energy. I want to know, what are the changes that go on in human body when you are at those temperatures of minus 30, minus 40? How does the body really adapt itself?
The body adapts it, the body clock actually adapts the changed circumstances. The 24 hours daytime, daylight is there. Basically, it is the desire and the drive from within.
It's mental strength.
Yes. That makes you accept all those things and achieve the target.
Right. Images of many Hollywood movies coming to mind when we talk about an expedition to South Pole. My friend Jemon, who put out that report, also tells me that you had to drive in what are called Arctic trucks. That's right. Could you explain to us what that actually means and why do you need a special vehicle and what was it equipped with?
Yeah, basically Arctic trucks are these are Toyota vehicles which have been sort of modified to give them a slightly bigger wheel so that they can have a bigger base. And the base has been raised so that even if you're going in soft snow, it doesn't really get bogged down. And why you need special trucks, special vehicles is for the reason because you're going in an icebound area, snowbound area, and you can either have these wheel-driven or these track-driven vehicles, or you can have the wheel-driven. So we prefer this because they can go a little faster, and they are good vehicles and have been tried out in these conditions earlier.
Perhaps a word about the life there actually at an Antarctic base. I know the first one snowed under, as you said. How many people do you employ? What's sort of the daily routine? How are experiments carried out? What's life at an Antarctic base?
Yeah, life in Antarctica is totally different from the mainland because you have a defined work roles, your own roles. Therefore, you are busy with your own roles, like your own research work and your own planned programs. And typically the life is not exactly just 9 to 5:30 or something like that. It's more of a round-the-clock work time.
Right. Sure.
And where you are needed, at that time you have to be there, like around the clock, looking after the generators and power supplies and water supplies and so on.
Right.
So
I think you must tell our viewers that there's no man-woman divide on the Antarctic base.
Exactly, that's true. You're right.
We have 3 women who are also currently at the Antarctic base.
Right, three women as well. If we can go back to Mr. Rasik, so the question I'm suspecting we'd be asking our guests in the studio as well. Why did Indians choose to go to the South Pole now 30 years after setting up base there in Antarctica first?
We did try earlier also. We tried in 1984. We went a couple of kilometers. Then there was some problems. We came back. We tried in 89, 90. We traversed the route, mapped the crevasses, but then we didn't have the proper vehicles. And we didn't have the proper state of the mind to go and cross the mountains. And in 1999 we again tried, and finally we thought that we are ready, and then we made it.
Right. Okay, before we actually do a final roundup of how it felt to unfurl the national tricolour there at the South Pole, one question to you, sir. Do weather patterns change our behavior? Does the best of human behavior or the worst of it come out in sub-zero temperatures?
See, during this South Pole expedition, there was no such thing. It was a short one, 6 weeks, and it was during one particular season only, summertime. Do weather conditions do affect the behavior pattern in longer expeditions, and where nighttime is involved, it is there, not in this one.
Okay. We can do a final roundup. Very, very quickly, gentlemen, you have to tell us the feeling, your exact words, your exact thought when that tricolour went up in South Pole.
It was great excitement. I mean, you're feeling like at the top of the world, though we were at the bottom of the world. But can't be expressed in words that what was the sort of excitement. In the sense that it's a dream of every Antarctican who has been there, as you rightly said that, I mean, some of us have been there a number of times. So we have been trying for it for many, many years that, well, we one day will be able to reach there. And this was the time that, the more excitement was because this is the centenary of the first man landing on South Pole. And the centenary cannot be a better time than this.
Created better. Right.
Just fantastic, I would say that, probably because, even more because that proves us that actually we could do much better working for future. I think that was a great acceleration.
Right, sir?
It was very gratifying, very exhilarating, and we felt proud of ourselves and for the nation.
Right. And we're proud of you as well. If you could quickly ask Mr. Rasik as well, so the feeling as your colleagues here are explaining to us.
Well, it was some feeling, you know, which you can't express. It was something like you being on the moon for the first time, and you have that sort of, you know, some extra blood flowing in your veins.
Right.
So once we were there, the secretary asked us, how do you feel? I said, we are at the bottom of the earth, but we feel on the top of the world.
Well, a thought that is echoed here among your colleagues as well. Thanks very much, sir, for joining us there from sunny Goa. As I said, we appreciate that very much. To you as well, gentlemen. I need to read out an Albert Camus quote here. In the depths of the winter, I learned what an invincible summer lay inside me. I guess that's something that you would have felt as well when you were there.
Experience completely. Thanks very much, gentlemen. We'll take a quick break here on 8 p.m. Prime. When we come back, lots more. Sehwag, Dhoni, Bhaji have all got a splash of colour.
Well, they're posing shirtless, though, for those who are interested. These are the sponsors of the Pepsi World Cup commercial.